Welcome back to Vegan Sing. Today I thought it'd be really interesting to learn more about this entire AI phenomena, the whole DeepSeek versus Chat GPT situation. Now, I'm not sure if I'd call myself an expert in a lot of things, but I am very up to date with Sikhi, the Sikh way of life. And I thought I'd ask some questions to see how both of the two AI technology applications would answer my questions. Let's have some fun. Let's get started. So, the first question I'd like to ask these AI applications is, who is the leader of the Sikhs? Now, the right answer is a little complicated. I would say that historically, the leader of the Sikhs are the 10 Sikh gurus. You could also say it's the Panj Pyare, the five beloved ones. Now, today, it should be the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, or it could also be the Akal Takht Sahib, where the Panj Pyare of today reside, and then you also have the SGPC chief who decides political matters and relevant issues for today for the Sikhs. So I'm excited. Let's see what ChatGPT first says. So ChatGPT says that the leader of the Sikhs is not a single person, as Sikhism does not have a central figure like the Pope. However, the spiritual leadership of Sikhs is guided by the teachings of the 10 Sikh gurus. Okay, I would say that's correct. Then it says the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, it should be Guru Gobind Singh Ji, declared that after him, the Sri Guru Granth Sahib would be the eternal Guru for Sikhs, and thus the Guru Granth Sahib is revered as the central spiritual authority in Sikhism. I would say that's correct. In terms of leadership within the community, there are also organizations like the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee that manage religious and cultural matters. Yep. So I would say ChatGPT is right on. I would say that's the right answer. Now let's see what DeepSeek gives as an answer. So DeepSeek gave a similar answer. Essentially, they're saying that the Guru Granth Sahib, Sri Guru Granth Sahib, and the Khalsa Panth, which is essentially the Sikh community, essentially is the leader of the Sikhs. And then they get into a little bit more details around what that Akal Takht is, and then who is leading the SGPC. So it's similar. DeepSeek didn't talk about the gurus like ChatGPT did, but generally they both gave, you could say the right answer. You know what would be a cool question to ask? Who is the most popular Sikh today? Let's see what both the AI applications tell us. So I started with ChatGPT and I asked them who the most popular Sikh is, and they're giving me. So first of all, they're saying it's very subjective, which is true. But I was just interested in what they tell me. So they're saying it's Navjot Sidhu, which is interesting because he's a pretty popular personality. He was on the Capital Show. And then they give me Narendra Modi, who's the actual Prime Minister of India today. It says that he's engaged with Sikh issues on various occasions, especially globally. So that's interesting. Then they give essentially a person, Baba Ram Singh, who is a part of the Namthari tradition, which is a little different than mainstream Sikhism. So that's interesting that they provided his name. And then they say Amritpal Singh, who's actually a member of parliament in Punjab, India. So that's interesting as well. So let's see what DeepSeek gives us as an answer. And it's interesting how they give their answer. They give us one influential person, and then they kind of break it out into people that are leaders spiritually, politicians, global icons, and activists. So from a total standpoint, they're saying Bhagwant Mann, who's the chief minister of Punjab, India, is the most popular Sikh today. And then if we go into religious and spiritual leaders, they have Gyani Raghbir Singh, who is essentially the head of the Akal Takht. He's the head of, I guess, SGPC. And then you also have Bibi Jagir Kaur. Then from politicians and activists, now this is where we get similarities with ChatGPT because Navjot Sidhu comes up here. He also came up in ChatGPT. Then they have Simranjeet Mann, who's a member of parliament, so a lot of politicians. And then they have Harjit Sajjan, who was the first Sikh defense minister for Canada. And that was a pretty big deal when that happened. I think that happened like 10 years ago. which seems really quick because it felt like yesterday when this was big news in Canada. And then they have global icons. So Rupi Kaur, who's that poet, she has a lot of great books, a lot of great artwork. So they have her. They have Waris Aldawalia, who's on a lot of, who's actually been in Hollywood movies. So that's pretty interesting. And he's also been like on Gap advertisements. So that's pretty cool. They have Diljit Dosanjh, who's been huge this past year. He actually just did a reel with Will Smith. He's done music with Sia. So that's pretty cool that they have Diljit on the list. And then they have activists and controversial figures. And they have Jagmeet Singh, who's the leader of the NDP party in Canada, on this. And then they also have Amarpal Singh, who was also on the list from Chat GPT. Both gave their answers. Now, I don't know if these are the right answers. They're really subjective. I'd love to get people's reactions in the comments on who they think is the most popular Sikh today. But it's really interesting on who got listed. So ChatGPT essentially tells me that the most popular place for Sikhs outside of India is, they said it's the Gurdwara Sahib in Richmond, British Columbia, but they don't tell me the name of the Gurdwara Sahib. Then they say the Guru Nanak Sikh Gurdwara in Surrey, which is also in British Columbia. And then they go down and they tell me other Gurdwaras, which is essentially Sikh community centers. And they tell me one in London, United Kingdom, the Guru Singh Sabha Gurdwara Sahib. But it's interesting that they gave me two options that are in India when the question was, tell me the most popular place outside of India. And they gave me Gurdwara Sahib, Bangla Sahib, which is in Delhi. And they gave me Darbar Sahib, which is the Golden Temple in Amritsar. So I would say ChatGPT didn't really get the question right here. ChatGPT didn't understand the assignment. Let's see how DeepSeek did. So for the most popular place for Sikhs outside of India, DeepSeek went a different direction. They outright just said Canada is the most popular place outside of India for Sikhs, particularly Brampton, Surrey, and Vancouver, which have the large Sikh vibrant communities. And here's why Canada stands out. And then they give us like, hey, it's the largest Sikh population outside of Canada. There's major Gurdwara Sahibs, and then there's also political influence. And then they also give other places that are Sikh heavy, like the United Kingdom, the United States, Australia, and even Italy, which truly does have crazy Sikh farming that happens there. But they went in two different directions. But I would say DeepSeek actually got the assignment right here. All right, so it seems like that ChatGPT thinks faster. They get to their answers a lot quicker. DeepSeek definitely takes more time to get to their answers. But so far, I feel like DeepSeek has given more comprehensive answers, and they've actually been answering the question compared to ChatGPT. Just an opinion. Let me know what you guys think. But I'll ask one final question. And it's a really interesting one that a lot of people ask me as a Sikh, and they ask me, why do Sikhs wear a turban? According to ChatGPT, why do Sikhs wear turbans? Before I go there, let me tell you something. I actually purposely made a mistake. Sikhs don't wear turbans. This is not a turban. This is called a dastar. When a Sikh covers their head, it's with a dastar, not a turban, not a pagri. It's a dastar, not a pug, dastar. Okay? So, according to ChatGPT, Sikhs wear dastars as a sign of their faith, identity, and commitment to the principles of Sikhism. Okay? And then they kind of come up with a couple examples. They say it's spiritual and there's a religious significance. It's a symbol of the Sikh identity, and it's a reminder of the commitment according to the teaching of the Sikh gurus. So I think that's a good answer. They said equality and humility. Yes, agreed. Courage and strength. Yep, agreed. Connection to the Sikh Khalsa. Yeah, so like the Sikh identity is really a way for us to all kind of have some camaraderie. And it's essentially our connection to the Khalsa. The Khalsa, which was established by the 10th Sikh Guru, Siddhi Guru Gobind Singh, who essentially wanted us to be accountable for being Sikhs. So there needs to be accountability with being a Sikh. So that's why we were all initiated to the Khalsa. Then it says, in essence, the turban for Sikhs is much more than just a piece of clothing. It's a symbol of their faith, their commitment to justice, and their unique identity as Sikhs. I think overall, that's a pretty good answer. Let's see what DeepSeek says. So DeepSeek says, Sikhs wear turbans, dastar or pagri. Nope, it's just the dastar. When a Sikh wears this, it's the dastar. As a core article of faith deeply tied to their identity, spirituality, and commitment to Sikh values, here's why it's so significant. It's the Guru's command, Guru Gobind Singh. It's one of the requirements to be in the Khalsa. The turban honors it's not the turban, it's the dastar. It honors and protects kes, which is our hair. So Sikhs actually don't cut their hair. It's a symbol of equality and sovereignty. Yep, practical and spiritual significance. It protects the long hair. It serves as a crown. Covers the 10th gate. This is the most important reason. It essentially, the 10th gate is our way of connecting with the universe. And essentially, the dastar is protecting the most important part of your body, which is your brain and your access to the 10th gate, which is essentially the universe. And then modern challenges and pride. Sikhs have faced discrimination, bans, and hate crimes since 9/11, yet turban remains a badge of courage. And then they also give a fun fact. Did you know women in turbans? Women, it's not mandatory for many Sikh women, but they also wear the dastar. So historically, that was more prominent. Recently, due to styles and Western culture, that's changed a bit. And then they talk about styles and colors. And then would you like to know more about tying techniques or historical turban battles, which is interesting. We'll look into an episode next time to get underneath that, I guess. But I would just say, generally, DeepSeek has given more comprehensive questions. They take more time to load, but I've actually felt like DeepSeek gives better answers than Chat GPT from what I've seen. So not trying to get underneath both of these, but I like the answers that DeepSeek gave. So what are your guys' thoughts? Who'd you guys like better? Did you guys think ChatGPT gave better answers or DeepSeek? I would love to hear your opinions. Thanks.